trying to come to the reason for that. I mean, because a lot of people have said that is politically motivated, the employment of 13,000 teachers, and why you had to employ that amount in one fell swoop, and even how that particular process was managed. But looking at how much you say that you finally get from the federal government, so on the average, if we were to go by the figures you've given us, let's say you got 14 billion last month, and you're able to raise 8 by yourself. You're saying that on the average you're worth 22 billion as a state government. Is that what you're saying?
Now look at it this way. We put a policy in place. Every 6 months in Rivers State you have heavy rainfall, therefore you can't construct. So within that 6 months we borrow money from the banks to do construction. All the money we borrow from the banks we pay back. So when your 12 billion comes, the banks will collect 10. You're left with 2 billion. So you have to wait for IGR to come. And when I say 8 billion, I say between 6 and 8 billion. There are months you get 6 billion.
You must pay back in 6 months?
No. I said you must pay back. Every month they collect 10 billion from you. Every month the banks must take their 10 billion, whether you like it or not.
It doesn't depend on the agreement you signed with them.
The agreement is that, because at the time we signed the agreement, we are getting 25 billion. So if they take, or 20 billion, if they take 10 billion, you're sure you have more money to run the state, to still pay your salary. So when this thing fell down, you still have to keep to your commitment. You have no choice. It's called an ISPO.
I'm trying to first of all how much you first of all make as a state, before we now see how much it is that you give us.
As a state, now when you collect the 12 billion, sometimes you get 8, sometimes you get 6. But on the average, at the end of the year, is an average of 8. So when you do 6 billion, and you add the 6 billion to the 2 billion that will remain from the 12 billion, how much is that?
It's an average of 7 billion. Between 8 and 6 is 7.
Okay, let's even take the 7. But we're still able to pay salaries because we fall back on the IGR. But that then affects development. That then affects the roads we are constructing. If you go to Port Harcourt, you see that there are some roads that are still under construction, but we're just barely managing to pay the contractors to carry on. There are schools that we're building, we're still building. There are schools we are still furnishing.
You went ahead to employ 13,000
Oh, by then we didn't have this crisis.
On one fell swoop?
Please. By then we didn't have this crisis. By then this was 2012, 2013. Don't forget.
But you've always said it. I mean, I think a lot of people have always said it, that oil is not sustainable. Prices are up today, they're down tomorrow. Is it not a scenario-based planning?
Please. This oil price is not up to a year.
Yes, but I'm saying that
this oil price,
it has happened before. It's under the administration of President Yar'Adua. It happened, so it's something that can happen.
We didn't feel it. Do you know why we didn't feel it?
Because there was excess crude account.
Yeah, so why not you ask what happened to our excess crude account?
Which is something that you've always kicked against.
But why not you ask what happened? What has happened to the excess crude account? You heard federal government say $1 billion was missing from the excess crude account by themselves. The fund is depleted every day by the federal government.
But we have also seen that states are always going to Abuja to share that money as
well.
No,
you're wrong. No, you're wrong. SS School account has not been shared for nearly 2 years now. It's the federal government that just
2 years?
Yes.
But that's not what they mean.
Governor Amaechi, I don't know if that particular information is correct.
Please ask the federal government.
In recent times, are you sure that the excess crude account has not been used to shore up the shortfall that has been experienced from the Federation account?
When you want to share excess crude account, the first thing you do is that you call the governor's state meeting. When you call the governor's state meeting, you tell us how much is in the excess crude account. Now, the last time we read, not meeting, we were told it was 4 billion. By the last meeting, we discovered there was 3 billion, and they say $1 billion was missing. The fiscal responsibility in this current government frightens me, but that's not what we are here for. We're here to deal with the issue of Rivers State and the lies being told by agents of the federal government. The agents of the federal government cannot constantly tell people that, we're owing salaries when we're owing no salaries.
We don't know if they're agents of federal government, but we know that they are citizens of Rivers State. He is from Rivers State. He doesn't have to be an agent of anybody to say what he thinks.
If he professes to be PDP,
okay.
what do you do with
that? Ekwano here says that, he also reminds us that the director of budget was here, and he did say that states get what is due to them from FAC as and when due without delay.
Yeah, when you say what is due to them from FAC as at when due without delay, what is due to us now? Let the NPC please pay all the money into the Federation account, then we'll know what is due to us. How do you know what is? That's why we said have an Accountant General of the Federation, have an Accountant General of the federal government. Because currently the Accountant General of the Federation is the same person as the Nigerian of the federal government. So you don't know which is the federal government resources and which is the federation resources.
So you're thinking that their accounts are mixed up and
there has to be an account before you talk about mix-up first.
Okay, you said something earlier about you're stopping upfront sharing in order to increase IGR.
Yes.
Was anybody prosecuted?
How would I know that? That's before I came in. I'm talking about my government.
No, it's your government. You said that you increased IGR because you were able to stop corruption within the system. And we asked, how did you stop the corruption? You say you were able to plug loopholes.
Yes,
so we're asking, was anybody prosecuted?
First, you have to find out who was the person. For me, I wasn't interested in knowing who was the person. As soon as I stepped in, I made sure there was no further attempt by anybody to take any amount of money out illegally. And once you did that, and made sure that people were not collecting money, and there was no excuse from anywhere, the money came into the till. Once you say to them, all funds must be paid into the state account, not a special account.
But Governor Amaechi, you have been quoted sometimes asking the federal government to prosecute corrupt politicians, corrupt public officers. Now, if you're asking the federal government to do that, how is it that you won't be interested in finding out who is it, or who are the people?
I don't know if you heard me well. That from the day I stepped in, I didn't have to look back. I promised the state I won't look back. Judge me from October 26th, 2007 that I became a governor. Please assess my government, pass your judgment, and don't make me part of the past government.
No, but government is a continuum.
Yeah, but I mean, judge me. I didn't say I'm not part of the last government. I'm talking about if you want to say Governor Amaechi has not performed or has performed, let it be dependent on what I have done.
Okay. Cyril Ojiano says that, well, he knows that some local government areas owed about 3 months' salaries, even some state ministries as well.
No,
since November.
Not River State government. Not River State government.
Are you sure that you're not unaware? I mean, it's possible that these people were owing and it just didn't come to you as information.
Mobe, we sit down with the Commissioner for Finance and say the month's salary is 9.2 billion. And I ask, where is the money? And they say it is in the XYZ account. And before I sign, and once I sign, they take it to the bank. A day or two after I have signed, like I signed off before yesterday, people begin to get their alert. And please, let's talk about this. Do you honestly believe that there will be a Nigerian that will be owed 8 months' salary and he will still be going to work? Does that make any sense? Is there logic in that? That you're owed 8 months' salary and you still go to work. And you raise the issue of that 13,000 teachers were employed for political purposes. The first thing you must do is that when we must look at was that when we took over as a state government, we looked at the problem of education. And one of the problems we identified was the lack of teachers. There are some schools you go to, there were only 2 teachers. A man with a degree in arts, say for instance history, we teach government, literature, English, all the art subjects. A man with a degree in biology teaches physics, chemistry, biology, integrated science, and all that. When they came back with their survey, their research, it occurred to us that we need to employ teachers. And the research said we need to employ 91,000 teachers if we must satisfy the need.
Within how long?
They didn't say how long, just say that is the requirement for both primary and secondary. And I was frightened. And there was no disagreement, there was no fight then in River State when I made a decision that, okay, let's take 13,000 teachers. It was in the process of employment.
How did you come to that figure?
I made that decision.
You just, thought
I said, no, I said, I can only add, I said I can only add 1 billion naira into my wage bill. And when they look at the salary for the wage, for the teachers, it came to 13,200 teachers. I just said, extra, this into my wage bill will be 1 billion. So go and work it out. And they worked it out, I came to 13,200 teachers.